All right, guys. I really appreciate this next man joining me to shed some light on a very serious situation that happened just a couple of days ago. He's absolutely killing it, though, in the professional wrestling world. The Epic himself is on the program. Doug Malo, no sleep, and you're joining me here on Submission Radio. Thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Thank you, boss. I appreciate you for having me.
Dude, I gotta say, first things first, I want to get into the whole situation that happened to Roger Jackson and Stu. But the great thing is, I saw an update on Stu. He looks like he's doing a little bit better in hospital. He seems like he's responsive and he's with his family. Have you had a chance at all to speak to him or anyone from his family today or the last couple of days to see what the updates are?
I've been trying to give him privacy for the most part. The thing is, so like I'm one of the less senior people there at Knox. Like if you talk about like I've only been there like maybe 2.5 years, right? He's got friends that have been there for 20 plus years. You know, like even Rusev's known him so long, right? Um, so they're the ones visiting. I called like my buddy Maverick, the real McKeel. We talked. He gave me an update. And the best part about that is like he needs his rest and his space, and his family needs their rest and their space, and I don't want to be an extra person pushing in on time they could be spending with him. And
Yeah,
then
well,
my main focus is his GoFundMe. So that was why I dropped the first video with my buddy Eric Konevsky with the Scaling Up podcast because they're already pretty popular. They had a way bigger channel before that, so I knew them. They live by me. So boom, we knocked that out. And then ever since after that, anybody doing a podcast, I just always ask, plug the GoFundMe, send a small donation, anything you can, because that's my main drive is doing that.
yeah, that's awesome, man. And this is the GoFundMe here. It's on $169,000 already. And I'll make sure to jump in there as well, put some money in there. And the link is going to be in the description below. I encourage anybody out there, if you have a few extra dollars, please consider making a donation to Stu, which is going to go directly to him and the family. And you mentioned it as well. Just watch out for all the other GoFundMes out there. If anybody else has set any of them up, this is the one to go to. Like, this is
Yeah.
the GoFundMe
This
to
is
go
through
to.
his wife, Contessa. So,
Mm.
yeah, this is what'll help him out directly.
I got to ask you, man, for you personally, you mentioned like you did a show, you've been working nonstop. Have you had a chance to sort of have everything that's happened in that ring? The fact that you got in there, you were able to stop Raja and pull him away. Has any of that sort of registered in your mind yet? Have you had a chance for that to sink in yet? It must still be pretty surreal being a part of
It,
that whole situation.
it's honestly super crazy. That's one of the most violent altercations I've ever been a part of. It's up there at least. But the fact that it was in front of kids, and at a place where nobody would really expect something like that. This is an entertainment uh, venue and operation going on. It's all for entertainment. It's not an expected place of violence. It's not like people went chest to chest and were bumping each other and talking and punches started flying. So like, there's no hint that that's going to be like the go-to. You're just going to like go in there and staple somebody to the floor and then start beating their head in. Uh, the big that's the thing that it was so shocking and so jarring, and trying to process all of that, and it's in a way for me hard to deal with. Just trying to think about like, did I react too late to this? Like, I could have done more, um but like, all that overthinking is pretty much gone. Like today I got a lot of really good messages. I thought it through. I talked with the detective. I even told the detective, there's multiple angles of me headbutting him and striking him, trying to get him to like stop being combative, trying to get control of the situation. I said, if I get in trouble too, like I don't care. Like if that's what honesty brings and needs to happen, then that's something I'm willing to live with. But like, I don't know. There's so many things running through my head outside of like, oh, I did this thing, and it's like I'm also more concerned about Stu more than I am about anybody. Making sure that if he goes back to work, he could do everything at full capacity. Because if he can't, then it's like, you know, what does $169,000 do to somebody with bills in California? It'll last a little bit, right?
Mhm.
But if you're not working and bringing in income, that goes away real quick.
I was gonna say, man, I think you should feel really good about yourself, especially this morning with Stu, having this moment with his family, because I was reviewing the footage and you were kind of like the only guy that stepped up and went in there and handled the situation. I mean, at least it shows you, right? Like you intervening when you did, it did so much. Like in your head, do you ever think about, oh man, like luckily I was there. Like in your head, do you think, man, imagine if I wasn't? Because if you weren't there, you didn't intervene when you did. I'd hate to think what would have happened, right?
Yeah, I do think that, and I am grateful that it was me of all people. Not only to eat the burden, but also I think about with the kid Doom, the first one with the makeup that tried to pull him off.
Yeah.
He's 17. He's a baby, right? And I would have been so devastated if he had gotten hurt too. You know, that would have been, I would have been inconsolable. You know, and probably, yeah. I just I'm glad that he was fine because he's not a violent person. You know, he's 17, and I'm glad that he's not a violent person at 17. He's got the biggest heart. He's so smart. He's so cool. Uh, and some of the bullying I've seen towards him online has just been horrendous. Uh, and if people really understood that he was 17 years old, uh, they might change their tune. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. So one of the things people that might not know about me is I'm a part of a pro wrestling school here in Australia called Mayhem Pro. So
I've
I
seen you guys.
understand. Yeah, they do such a great job, man. And I've gotten a chance to be a part of some of the shows, just helping out and helping set up like tables and chairs and stuff, which has been really fun. So I saw a different side of it. And man, being a 17-year-old kid in that ring, like being someone that's new to the industry and being in that ring, you'd feel so lost in a moment like that because people don't realize like there's so much going through your head. So he was lucky, to have you go in there. I reviewed the footage, man. And, when you went in there with Raja, you really just try to like, get him off, move him off. And I didn't really get to see exactly what happened, but I know you've got the bandages there. What happened, man? Like, did he let off a few shots on you? What happened in those exchanges between you two?
Yeah, and I got stitches right here.
Mm.
What happened is when I first came in there, my goal was to not tackle him onto Stu. Um, I went in, I looked, I assessed, and I said I have to pull him away from Stu. So that's why I went to the outside and got under an armpit and tried to throw him off to the side. And when I did that, if you look at the video, you could see him shoot for a double leg on me and try to take me down. He was working the whole time to try to get an advantage, get my legs, dump me on my head so he could do the same thing to me that he did to Stu. Or at least, attempt to, because I would have been awake. But uh, that's what was happening. And then as I got some underhooks set in and I kind of held him up, I was working a position. And I was like, I'm going to roll this guy to the corner. As I started backing him up and using my weight
Mm.
to push him into the corner, switched to body position. And when he did that, somebody hit him. It's not funny, but the guy who hit him with that bag, there's a
Yeah,
bunch
what's
of
it?
cocks in that bag.
Oh, really? Because I was
Yeah,
like,
he
what's
hit
the
him
deal
with
with
the
that
bag
bag? Yeah.
a purple bag of cocks. I, s-
Wow.
I was just like, really? You hit him with a bag of cocks. We're here now. Um, so he did that, and then Raja got hit there. He lowered his position a little bit and got like a good, you can see his hands clasped going to my lower back, which is also no good for me in that position.
Mm.
He's got a low center of gravity, so holding him up, and then I bit him in the trap really hard, and you can see I bit into his right trap. So if he were to try to drop a level and get under me to take my legs out, like he would have to take his trap off because I wasn't letting go. I was like a pit bull. Um, and then after that, when he was pushed into the corner, he slipped out the underhook from my left arm and threw a right straight and just got me right in the bone on the corner of my eye. And after that, I reared back and headbutt him, and then let off a couple punches.
Dude, it's crazy, man. I was reviewing the footage. Did you expect more from the boys? Like in that situation, I would expect, all the boys to jump in and help you out. They did. Like there was the guy with the cocks, but looked a little
We
bit delayed to me, right? Like I feel
we
like
had
it should have been a stronger response.
yes and no. Uh, we have some really big boys there,
Mhm.
and they were in the back, and there's no TV monitor back there. A lot of people didn't know. Um, so like it all happened. It looked like a long time, but it all happened so fast,
Mhm.
And when you got like Journey Fatu, my buddy Alex Ace, who's a 7-footer, my buddy Zeke, who's like 6'4", 290 pounds. Um, like I'm 6'2", 260 pounds. So for that, for all those guys that would have been back there, that could have been really bad. Like even though Raja did such a terrible thing, like you almost murdered our friends. Like now we gang tackle you, and then a bunch of people feeding off of chaotic energy
Mm.
and viciousness could have been very bad. So like I think looking back at it, like it's I'm happy at least in that response way. I'm really sad about the lack of people that knew a spot could have been ugly. Um, for instance, like I was told like a little whisper, like, "Hey, this might go wrong. There's something that happened earlier in the day, and they're going to do a run-in." I was like, "Well, what are they going to do?" They're just supposed to do this after doing a run-in after Stu hits a spear. And I'm like, "Well, what are they doing?" You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because then if I don't know what the person's doing and I don't know when I'm supposed to be reacting, right? Then I'm stuck watching. And I talked to the security guy in the front. I said, "You got a radio so they can radio me just in case they have a signal if something goes wrong right away." And then he said, "Yeah, I got a radio." I said, "Do you know about what's happening?" He said, "No." I went to the sound guy, I went to the video guy. Um, Both were like, "Oh, I don't know." And then at the end, the sound guy's like, "Oh no, yeah, we have the spot." And then I go back to Bear, the security guy. I tell him when I walk back, uh, Stu's up in the air, and I like the music's playing, and I see like the first couple punches, and I'm already moving towards the ring, but I'm in shock. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"Yeah, I did." It was so jarring and so alarming. And then like when I rolled in, like I said, I had to get to the outside of Stu. I couldn't. If I would have jumped on top of Stu or tackled Raja on top of Stu, and my weight landed on his face for any reason, I could have caused just as much or more damage. Just because I'm a heavy guy,
Mhm.
so that's the course of action throughout that. But there's people that were sitting by the steps, which is on the stage. It's a small room. People could have ran in right there, but they didn't. They just watched, and that bothers the hell out of me. Like that's haunting to me because I'm making eye contact with you, and I'm like, this is your freaking friend of how many years,
Mm.
and you're just gonna let me fight it out. And if that guy would have got the advantage on me, like he could have really hurt me. That's one punch. Trained fighters, they don't. It's not like I'm fighting a bar drunk. I've whipped so many bar drunks' ass as a bouncer and laughed about it. Just like, "Buddy, stop doing this." You slap him in the face, like, "Quit trying to be a jerk," and then you wrestle with him a little bit, like, "No, no." This guy was an absolute savage. He was so strong. He was quick, and he's a powerful guy. Like, yeah, I'm bigger than him, but he's a trained fighter. You know what I mean? That's a lot of power packed in small bodies. I got older brothers that were D1 wrestlers, and even at my heaviest when I was in high school, I couldn't hold a can. Even in my 20s, I couldn't touch them, and I outweighed them by like 80 pounds because they're just so quick, they're so agile, they know how to get leverages, they know what to do, and they know how to gas you out. It's a different sport, it's a different ball game. You know, so they have me dealing with that guy when I'm 35, and you know, pretty much, I think at this point, this is the most unathletic I've ever been. I used to be a pretty good athlete, but You know, took a couple years off, and I was a power lifter for a long time. I'm like, this isn't season time for amateur wrestling. You know, like I don't know. It was
Dude, good on
unnerving.
you. Good on you for stepping up, though, man. You did such a good thing by stepping up. You took a big risk, of course, like Raja, like you mentioned, he has so much skill and he was in this rage and you stepped up. You were able to really help your friend out. I got to ask you a couple more things. First up, I guess there's a lot of video floating around because it's all streamed live. I want to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, AJ Mana in the back, this is what he said to him.
You remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, go tag his shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there.
I think he also said give him a real one.
Yeah. So just going off that, man, like obviously Raj is new to the scene. He doesn't understand pro wrestling. And you got one of the boys in the back basically working him. Like, how would you describe what AJ did to Raj in the back by saying that?
Accessory to a crime. You're a worker. That's your guest too. So if I'm a worker and I have a guest and this guest is going to do a run in, right? My goal is to make sure that this guest that I'm bringing doesn't hurt my friends that I'm working with or doing works with, colleagues or whatever, he's got going on over there. For him to sit there and make a statement like, if anyone else got something to say, I'm going to run in, cowboy dumbass. I hate him. He's just so fucking stupid. Sorry for my language, but
That's all good.
this guy, you say that, and then what that statement is saying is it's me and you versus all of them. You're encouraging him to do something where he knows that he might be outnumbered and saying that you'll have his back. You're emboldening this. You're priming him up to just go commit something really heinous and stupid. In the back with Stu, he knew Stu was, not in the right mind. Stu even said, "Oh, you're going to sell this?" And instead of AJ trying to calm it down and de-escalate, his tone of voice, his body language, everything, how he was acting, he escalated everything. Then he goes and he says that and he's escalating it more. Now everybody online is telling Raja all this shit and he's getting picked on. His dad's calling him, picking on him and stuff like this. Not really. His dad didn't know that was the energy that was there. Do you think that like Rampage, if he would have saw his son energy after all of that, he would have like, you know what? You need to go into the ring. No, fuck no. He'd probably take him out back and be like, hey, let's just settle this on the side or demand another day where we settle up. But like, this isn't going to be good for you,
Mm-hmm.
Or like he would have just raised hell himself because, it's the name Rampage. What AJ did was just deplorable. He was caught on a phone call with him, like in the live streams after the fact. And then one of our workers, one of the wrestlers says, hey, is that you? And he goes, oh, I would never use the N-word, this and that, and the other thing. Then he goes on CT Fletcher's podcast, N-word this, N-word that, I'm this is really who I am. There's no lies told here. I didn't say this, but there's a video of you literally saying what you're saying you didn't say. Like, he's a professional liar. He has a Samoan accent when he hangs around the Samoans. Then if he hangs around anyone else, his accent changes up. The guy doesn't know who he is. He's unhinged. He's a liar. He's unworkable. He's a bully, always has been. The whole day leading up to that, he was working with the guy that he was doing a match with, making him bump cold and doing all this stuff because the guy's a new worker. And he's like, I'm making sure he could do all the stuff that I need him to. Like, what are you talking about? You do what they can do and you work around that because you're supposed to be the more experienced worker. And then when the guy leaves the room, he's sitting there mouthing off to everybody, oh, he can't work. Oh, he can't work. Man, he doesn't know. Like, bro, you're such a dick. You're bullying this poor kid, and now you're talking shit about him. Like, instead of encouraging him so he's confident, you guys have a good match because he's confident, he's happy, he's ready to go, he's loose, he's excited. No, you're destroying his confidence. You're doing it to put yourself over. All he cares about is clout and ego. So even backstage with Raja, you hear him making, oh, we can get your dad involved. And he's smiling, like dribbling in his pants to get Rampage over. And then he says it like 2 different times, all excitable. And then everyone's like, no, he's his own man. He can do it himself. Like, that guy is a despicable human. Like, everything that he was doing was for attention. How he was talking, how he walks around the room, like he thinks he's the greatest shit on earth, and like all he cares about is being the center of attention, and he'll do anything necessary to be that center of attention. You know, and that type of person will use people to put himself over. So then when he says that stuff to Raja, and he said, "Oh, this and that. If anyone has anything to say, I'll go there with you." Raja's down on the side of the ring, shaking, so excited, he's ready to go. You know, and his chat's pumping him up. All these things are happening. And then even if he had a doubt, like maybe I shouldn't do this, he's probably going to be thinking like, well, AJ's got my back, so I'm just do what I want anyways. Like, what a shit human being. You have friends and people, well, friends for him. He doesn't have any fucking friends because you don't do that to friends. You know, you don't put people in harm's way and just think it's a game. You're telling a trained fighter who doesn't know how to throw a working punch to go ahead and punch him.
Guys, if you're looking for the best VPN in the game, hit the link in the description below and try out IPVanish VPN. They are giving you guys a crazy 83% off. That's right, 83% off. Have a look over here. That's only $2.19 a month that starts at. Check that out. These are the options that you have, and you guys get that 3 gigabyte eSIM data gift and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you try it today. It is, of course, blazing fast. There is no logs, advanced encryption. It's truly unlimited. There are so many benefits to having a VPN. If you guys want to watch all of your favorite shows, if you guys want to check out all of the different events from around the world that might not be featured in your country, if you guys want deals on flights and products and all sorts of other things, IPVanish VPN really has you sorted. So do me a favor, click below right now. You support the program when you do. Give this thing a try. 83% off, one of the best VPNs in the game right now. So affordable. Don't worry about having to pay $30, $40 for a VPN. Have one today for as cheap as that. 83% off. My gosh, IPVanish has you sorted. If you're a submission radio watcher, fan, listener, click on the description below and get started on IPVanish today. Yeah, dude, I think what he did was disgusting. And I can't believe, like, it's such a privilege to be a part of the wrestling industry and to be in the back and to be a wrestler and to go out there and put, Stu in danger by saying that because he's trying to get himself over an opportunity for himself. I'm just grateful that, that was captured on camera, right? But it was hard, though, because we saw all the other stuff that was captured on camera. Like, we saw Raja's reaction when they said that Stu was hurt. We saw the people pumping Raja up. We saw this whole thing recorded. I think that's one of the crazy things about this, right? Like, this stupid streaming culture and the fact that this is all captured to this detail. I mean, at the end of the day, it's good because at least it documents everything. But how hard was it for you after the fact to go back and see some of these clips and the stuff that was actually happening?
As soon as I saw the AJ clip, we have like a group chat amongst all the wrestlers and the promotion. I posted it because I know nobody had saw it yet in the group chat, and I said, I'm out. I was instantly pissed.
Yeah, man.
The thing is this dumbass was over here saying that Stu's a racist or making remarks towards that way in the CT video. Then he kind of hinted at it the day of. He said that him and Stu had heat, and he told these grandiose lies about the ranch that him, how he said, me and Stu worked on the same ranch. Shut up. They told him to leave the ranch because he didn't hold his own. He doesn't know how to work. He's not worth shit. So they got rid of him. Stu even gave him a car, the Suburban that he drives around. Stu gave him a freaking car, knowing that AJ wasn't going to pay him back all the way, right? Because Stu's a kind guy. He'll go out of his way for anybody. He's just that dude, like, he's not perfect, but he's a sweetheart. So this guy is, over here telling people that, he was held captive at the ranch and all these bikers had to come, and this event happened, and this girl had to come save him, and they drove off together, and all this bullshit. Like, I don't believe a fucking thing he says. He told that to my buddy. Then he's walking around saying that him and Stu, have heat because of what happened at the ranch. Stu was the only reason that AJ got allowed back into the promotion. He was kicked out. So AJ was kicked out for all the drama that he's caused and all the things that he's done where, you know, he's known for shooting on people and hurting them and just being careless in the ring. So he gets let back into the promotion after he caused all this freaking drama. Well, I don't even know if he caused it because there's another idiot over there. The guy in the blue paint that was out there trying to put out his Instagram handle, the crackhead. He and AJ are, you know, feuding. AJ ended up getting kicked out. But Stu was the only reason that allowed AJ to stay there. You know, because Stu vouched for him when he wanted to come back.
Dude, that's some crazy stuff there. Now, Doug, I know you've had a long 48 hours, so I want to let you go in just a second, but just two more things from me.
If you want to ask more questions, I'm fired up. My blood's pumping now, so if you want more, you can have more.
And I wonder, do you have a light in your car? Just because it's a little bit hard to see you on the... Yeah, perfect. I know you mentioned that you'd love to do maybe some kind of charity boxing match with Rampage and help raise some money for Stu.
Yeah.
Could be a good way to raise some money. And I thought, hey, that's a great way, like more money for Stu after going through this could be a great opportunity. Are you still on board for something like that? Are you still interested in potentially doing something with Rampage?
I mean, yeah, if it paid for Stu's medical bills and set him up, I'd do anything. Would I want to do it like internally? Would I be like, this is going to be fun? I'm like, hell no. He'd whoop he'd beat the brakes off me. One, I hate boxing. I suck at it, right? Better with my feet and my hands together. But at the same time, that's more of a safer route. But it's not that I would want to do it. It's just like he's got bills to pay. Stu's got bills to pay. It's not a very good situation, you know? And I would do it, and I do it to the best of my ability, and I do it because it's for my buddy. I wouldn't take a dime of it, not one dime, you know?
Yeah.
Like even now, like everything I'm doing is for Stu and the GoFundMe.
Yeah, man, you're everywhere right now. I really appreciate you helping raise money for Stu's GoFundMe. I want to bring my final question back to you. Obviously, you're killing it on the independent scene. You're all over the place. The Epic, I see on your Instagram. You know, people need to follow you. I'll have your information down below in the description. What's coming up for you, and where can people check you out next? What's coming up for you next for your, for your schedule? I'm sure a lot of people want to support you as well and check you out. And maybe for the people that haven't watched you live, where can they watch you and how can they get involved with the Epic?
Well, right now I'm looking for new places to wrestle because I was always exclusively at Knox, and we were running a lot of shows, or a decent schedule of shows. So I went to Championship Wrestling Hollywood. I got invited to their next one in Oxnard next month. I got invited to a place this Friday. I'm going to go. I have all this stuff in detail. These are all new to me. I think it's House of Lucha Wrestling on Friday. So I basically, if anyone has ideas and anybody wants to see me, I'll show up and I'll make it fun. But I didn't get booked on a normal indie schedule. I didn't get to like pack my schedule full of events. You know what I'm saying? So now that all my scheduled events are canceled for the foreseeing year, I'm like, well, I gotta start over. So this is where I'm at. I'm gonna make it work to the best of my ability. I'll show up anywhere. I just go have fun, you know.
For sure, dude. Well, let's all get behind, Doug. Let's support the Epic. His information is down below. Maybe we can even get you down to Australia at some point, man. I'm sure the fans would love to watch you. Yeah, would love to watch you live down here, man. And again, dude, I appreciate your time. And again, I know it's been a hard few days for you, but what you did was very courageous, and you made a real difference. So I thank you, and I know a lot of the pro wrestling world thanks you too.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate your words and your time and everything you've done with your podcast and your very organized questions that kept me kept me in the game. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you too, Doug.